Right now at noon, snow across the area leads to crashes on the Will Rogers Turnpike. We'll have latest. Plus, alert days continue across the area for dangerously cold temperatures and the potential for some additional light snow. And also, with those dangerous temperatures, one community opens a warming center for the first time. And homeowners aren't the only ones who need to be watching out for frozen pipes with these freezing temperatures.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Take a look at this. This is a time lapse from our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin as snow rolled into the area Sunday, quickly accumulating on roadways, leading to a number of slick spots, dangerous travel conditions, and even some accidents. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Chris Warner. We are starting with a quick look at our forecast. This is, again, our camera now aimed slightly different on the Cornell complex. You can see roads are looking a little better, at least right here on 7th Street. But do you see how wet they are? That's going to be a concern as we head through the day and into tonight and tomorrow morning is some of this refreezing, including some of this slush that could lead to black ice and more slick spots as we head into our Tuesday across the area. MoDOT cameras around the metro showing still some snowpack in some locations. 7th and Range Line, there's a 7th and Garden Grove, 32nd and Range Line, and 20th and Range Line. So road crews have been out, but these roads aren't perfect, nor are they going to be because you can't do much for black ice. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh on 69 against some snow cover on the shoulders, a little bit down the center line, and we still have some snow patches out there. And again, the new concern will be as we head through tonight, all of that refreezing as we head toward tomorrow morning. In terms of road conditions, still slick spots being reported in the roadways highlighted in green, and we still have some partially covered roadways across parts of southeast Kansas, Parsons, Columbus, Pittsburgh area, down toward Galena, Baxter Springs, Oswego. So you've got to watch out for those slick spots. On the Missouri side, still some partially covered and even covered roadways, but as you can see, things have improved greatly since this morning, especially along I-49 and I-44 out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing snow, but not all of this is reaching the ground at this point. But any snow that does reach the ground will be able to stick to some of these roadways, even the ones that have been recently cleared. So something to keep in mind as we go through the rest of the afternoon. We still have wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings out there. All of these running through noon tomorrow for wind chills dangerously cold, upwards of 10 to 20 below zero. It is 3 in Joplin right now, 3 in Pittsburgh. Quick look at temperatures around the region, and we've got temperatures mostly in the single digits out there, and still some temperatures that are below zero. And look at these wind chills, regardless of what the air temperature is. They are upwards of anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees below zero. Believe it or not, we're going to warm up, as hard as that may be to believe. We're going to take a look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. And as snow was falling along I-44, east of Miami about 1 o'clock Sunday, a series of crashes occurred blocking the eastbound lanes. Oklahoma authorities at the time asked Missouri to assist by closing I-44 traffic westbound into Oklahoma. It wasn't until about 5 hours later that some of the first vehicles could cross the state line. It's unknown how many vehicles were involved at this point, how many crashes occurred. However, just after 10 this morning, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol announced that all eastbound lanes were open following a 21-hour closure. And the winter weather has also caused some 4-staters to lose power yesterday afternoon. There were more than 6,000 customers without power across the area, with 4,000 of those in Webb City. Now, that power has been restored. However, it can still be dangerous for power to go out in these frigid temperatures. There's some things that you need to know, though, to keep yourself safe if that happens. First, you should keep everyone in a central room of the home away from doors and windows. Don't use your oven to heat your home. Use flashlights instead of candles to avoid fire hazards, and close any window curtains, and that'll help insulate your home. And the Columbus Community Building will have its doors open today for those needing a place to escape the cold. On Tuesday and Wednesday, this warming center will be moved to the Columbus City Hall. Officials say this is the first time the city has opened a warming center.
Just in recognition of that, we want to make sure that our residents stay healthy and safe. So if anyone needed to take advantage, they'll be able to come to our community building for the next few days during business.
And we have a reminder that there are a number of warming centers that are available in the area. They include some libraries, senior centers, and other facilities. Now, some are only open when temperatures drop below 32 degrees, and access might be limited to business hours, and many of them have specific rules to ensure public safety. You can find a complete list of these shelters along with contact information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And the freezing cold could also lead to frozen pipes and possible water damage. And it's not just homeowners who need to be getting ready. For sprinkler systems in businesses, for example, room temperature needs to be at least 50 degrees. And you need to make sure those pipes are insulated. You'll also want to walk around the building and the room, see if there's any drafts, and fix them if you find them. Branson's fire chief says potential damage typically comes when we see more than 2 or 3 days of sub-freezing temperatures.
Once you confirm that you've had a break and there's no fire, know how to turn those systems off to avoid that water damage. Know where your domestic water line shutoffs are as well to avoid water damage.
After a cold snap, Chief Martin says it's equally as important to keep an eye on the pipes as temperatures go back to normal. As the ice thaws, that can also lead to pipe issues. And because of this cold snap, we're resharing a story from 2022 with tips on how to protect your pets during these bitter temperatures. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Leaving a pet outside in the cold weather for long periods of time can harm them. While some pets such as Huskies and Maine Coons have coats built for the cold, other pets do not.
What people have to understand is that all these breeds are man-made. We develop them for a certain area of the world for a certain job. Not everybody can grow the coat that they need to stay warm in our weather. So that is an important factor. The fact that they have a coat means nothing.
When you're unsure about the weather concerning your outside pet, try this.
One way that you can know how they feel, this is what my challenge to everyone. Put on a sweatshirt, maybe a light jacket, and go out tonight and just sit with your dog for an hour. Just don't do nothing, just sit there and see how you feel. See how that makes you feel. That is exactly what they go through 24/7 all winter long, and some can actually freeze to death.
If you see a pet fighting the cold elements, call animal control or your local police department.
Our police force is a big key to this, yes, because they're the ones out there checking the houses, checking the backyards, and seeing whether or not these animals do have the protection from the weather.
Putting straw inside dog houses is an easy way to help insulate.
I will say the city of Arma is, and I will challenge other towns and cities to do the same. We are getting our straw for the season. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, and we will be handing that out to folks that do need it. Yes, to keep their animals warmer, and they just need to stop by City Hall here, and hopefully other towns will do the same.
Reporting in Southeast Kansas, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And that is a look at today's top stories and a quick check of that forecast. Still ahead on the KOAM News at noon. Some area residents brave the cold for a truly frosty trail run. And later, we're making a southern potato bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, runners from around the area stayed warm Saturday with some exercise. The Joplin Road Runners hosted a frosty 4-trail run at Morse Park in Neosho. Awards were given out to the winners from each category, top male and female, and top in age-graded performance rankings. Now, all participants received medals following the run.
I like trail running above everything. Love trail running. There's a great variety in it. You constantly have to be aware of where you're going. If you look up, you fall down. If you look down, you get lost. So it's a constant awareness of where you are, and you see the beauty of nature while you run through it.
Net proceeds from the event went to the Hope Kitchen in Neosho. George Washington Carver National Monument Saturday remembered Martin Luther King Jr. with a documentary called In Remembrance of Martin. The showing featured personal reflections by people who recall his career and leadership in the civil rights movement.
When you hear it from people who actually knew the person, and actually when they're talking about the gentleman, talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, kind of the same way when you look through Carver's letters and the people that are connected to Carver, it brings a whole nother element to that story because it's a more personal level.
And the monument is planning on showing the documentary again today at 1. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and to honor him, we're cooking up a Southern favorite that's easy enough to serve for dinner tonight.
But first, we have got ourselves another cold one out there. But believe it or not, warmer temperatures are on the horizon. We'll look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we have an alert day today and tomorrow for these dangerously cold temperatures across the area. And as such, we do have wind chill advisories and wind chill warnings across the area as well. All of these set to expire at this point at noon tomorrow. And in the interim, though, we are looking at wind chills dangerously cold, upwards of 20 degrees below zero, maybe even a little colder than that as we head into our Tuesday. As we look at Skywatch Storm Tracker, now you see what looks like a lot of snow falling out there, but not all of it is reaching the ground. However, what does manage to reach the ground could stick to the roadways again, even the ones that have recently been cleared, and that could lead to additional slick spots across the area, so something to keep an eye out for. In terms of current road conditions, we covered this earlier, still some slick spots in our northern counties into the west, and we do have some partially covered roadways around Parsons, Oswego, Columbus, and Pittsburgh, and down toward Galena, Baxter Springs, and Riverton as well, so you do need to watch out, be careful. Road crews are working as quickly as they can, but it is very cold, making it difficult to clear everything. On top of that, we could see additional light snow out there as well. On the Missouri side, I-49 and I-44 are reported as clear up to Mount Vernon on I-44, and otherwise we do have, even in the Joplin area, still some partly covered and even covered roadways as you head further south toward Neosho and down toward Anderson and Cassville out there. So again, just slow down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going, and if you don't have to be out today, don't. Our camera, Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Roads are looking better here on 7th Street, but take a look at how wet they are and take a look at this slushy stuff. With it being as cold as it is, that's going to freeze and refreeze as we go into the overnight hours. MoDOT cameras around the Joplin Metro showing where we still do have snow on some of these roadways, even into those driving lanes. This is 32nd and Range Line looking east. 7th and Garden Grove on the east side of town, 7th and Range Line and 20th and Range Line, and you can see from each of these locations there are still patchy areas of snow. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh, now you can see this snow is beginning to reach the ground. If you look close enough, there it comes. And so we've got to watch out for that because some of this could stick to these roadways and cause more driving issues out there. KDOT camera right at Kansas Crossing. Again, the center zone still covered with some snow there, but we also have these little strips of snow here and there. Additionally, turn lanes, exits, things like that aren't completely clear yet either. And we'll continue to see the opportunity for some light snow, maybe a few flurries out there as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours. And as we go overnight into tomorrow morning, it's going to be very cold again, but we're going to start to see some clearing out there. It's already cold. It's going to be a pinch warmer tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a moment. 3 in Joplin right now. Feels like 12 below with a north breeze at about 10 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, for the most part, into the single digits out there, and this little temperature fluke has come back on our map, but it's not to say it's impossible. It still is quite cold regardless, and even though we're above zero air temperature-wise, you factor in even a light breeze, and those wind chills are below zero, upwards of 15 below zero out there. Now for today, we're looking on average, highs about 8 degrees with some flurries, light snow possible. Some of us might make it into the low teens. That will not make much of a difference whatsoever if you're outside, but your thermometer may read a little warmer than 8. And wind chills again upwards of 20 below with that north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into tonight, overnight lows falling below zero once again, and we'll have some light flurries, and then we'll start to see skies clear overnight. Unfortunately, northwest wind starts gusting upwards of 20, so another round of dangerous wind chills and dangerous wind chills tomorrow. Hence why the alert days continue into tomorrow and why those wind chill advisories and warnings continue, as we could still see them below zero, upwards of 15, 20 degrees. 19 though, so a little warmer, upper teens, maybe some low 20s, west breeze 5 to 15 with more sunshine. Now Wednesday, that looks pretty good. We're talking upper 30s, warming up a bit, get some melting done. Light snow does return to the forecast as a possibility on Thursday, and that also cools us back down. But take a look at next week. We have rain chances, and I'm going to tell you right now, I will take those rain chances because that also brings in temperatures into the low 50s. It's going to feel like South Florida weather out there compared to this. So just hold in there. 1 week from today, we're going to be upwards of 40, almost 50 degrees warmer than where we are right now with some rain chances out there. So just hang on. We're going to get there together. And stick around because we are making a southern potato bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen right after this. Well, the cold weather certainly has all of us wishing for something just a bit warmer, and Howard has just the thing with a southern potato bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Did you know that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is the only person who was not a U.S. president to have a national holiday dedicated to him? So today, I hope you'll take a moment to remember all that Dr. King did for our country. And since Dr. King was born in Atlanta, we thought we'd whip up a dish that's comforting, easy to make, and full of Southern goodness. It's a creamy potato bake that goes together like this. We start by combining some sour cream, a can of cream of broccoli soup, some shredded cheddar cheese, chopped onion, and a bit of melted butter. After making sure it's all mixed well, we stir in a package of frozen Southern-style hash browns, along with a bit of salt and pepper. Now, this goes into a casserole dish and gets topped with a generous amount of coarsely crushed cornflakes that we mix with a little butter before it goes into the oven to bake. When it's bubbling hot and the top begins to get golden, it's ready to serve. Talk about a creamy, dreamy side dish that's full of comfort. To get the recipe for our Southern potato bake, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a classic Southern way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
And of course, you can find this recipe with a lot more good food from Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. All you have to do is go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, the stock markets, of course, are closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. However, we do have ag prices, and then we'll be back with the final check of your forecast right after this. All right, so we have the alert days today and tomorrow. We're talking dangerously cold wind chills, upwards of 20 below zero out there. Some light flurries, light snow today, up into the upper teens, low 20s tomorrow. Better on Wednesday, another potential round of snow on Thursday. And as we look into the weekend, we do eventually start to see a warm up. Temperatures next week, though, look at that, into the low 50s with some rain chances out there. So something to look forward to in the next about 7 days. We're going to be almost 50 degrees warmer. Now, due to the Bills game being rescheduled tonight, we're not going to see you at 5 or 6, but we will be back with more news at 9 on Fox 14 and back here with the KOAM News at 10. Have a great and safe afternoon.